Now that we have our CRUD model in place and with our nice little user model here, what we can do is go ahead and create 2 more models. So I'll copy all this in the user model and I'll say new PHP file and I'll call this to-do model. I'll just select all and paste. I'll change this to to-do. I'll change the table to to-do and the primary key to to-do ID. And this extends the CRUD model, so now we only typed our code once inside the CRUD model. Very, very useful. Okay, and we'll do the same thing for the notes model. And I'm going to actually have to double check. I believe it's not plural. It shouldn't be. Good. It's called note. So I'll call this note model. Paste. Note model. Note. And you can do this for any class you want. Okay. So now we have those. Beautiful. Just beautiful. So I'll close out all of these and let's head over to the API. Let's do a little refactoring and see what's going on. So we can scroll down a little ways to the login. The user model, we didn't have to change anything because it already used kind of a CRUD interface and we didn't change it so much that it broke it. And that's really cool. So let's go down a little more. We're loading the user model a lot. Here, and maybe more. What we could do is just get rid of that and just take this guy up here and in the construct, whoops, I'll say this load model user model, okay? And I'll go down a little bit. Let's make sure we're not loading this anywhere else. So let's see where we can, okay, it's only one place. You might not have to do that, but I kind of prefer it that way. It's just a little file. So if we go down a little ways, we get to do, and here's where the fun starts. So we want to load our to-do model. This load model, to-do model. And I'll go ahead and say this to-do model get. And inside of here, we're going to get where, pretty much this exact same stuff. Okay. And look at that. We don't need all this stuff here. We can get rid of this. I'll change this to result. I can get rid of these 2 lines. Sorry for this highlighting. It's a little annoying sometimes where it's highlighting all these this words. Okay. Let's see. So if the ID is not null, select that. Okay, so that's selecting an individual ID. So for this one, we'll say result equals this to-do model get. Actually, we could just pass in a pretty much a short version of that, like so. Okay, and I like to do things one at a time and make sure it works. Now, I hope I didn't delete those, so let me just type in test, and refresh. And there's a little bit of a hiccup with it. So, let's see what's going on. To-do model get, and we're returning the result. And let me look in the database at the to-do, where user ID is probably going to be 1. Okay. So I suppose my first rule of business is to say, hey, echo this user ID 1. And I'll open up the console and go to network, refresh. I'm going to load up this little XHR tab, get to do, and we have 1. So that is good. Undefined property to do model, line number 97. Looks like I did something wrong. I need to put this outside of this statement, like this. Whoops. That should not be in that conditional. You know, just to make my life easier, I'm going to put this up at the top also. And I'm going to do the same for notes. Note. Because that's going to get annoying. So going back down, just to make sure, to do model, and go ahead and refresh. And here's all my goodies. Okay. Next business of refactoring. This DB insert. This will actually need to be this to do model insert. Get rid of that guy. Okay. Form output. Okay, so we just changed the insert here. So if there is a result, it looks like this is trying to get the query ID, and that's in our result. Because every time we insert right here, when we're doing an insert, remember that it returns the ID. It's just so handy. Okay, so let's make sure that works. I'll refresh the page and write 1, 2, 3. And let's check the network. The network won't lie. Cool. 35. And refresh, and there it is. Okay. Next, update to do. So we'll say this to do model update, and we have our data, and this looks like it's just going to be a complete state. So I'll just say put the little brackets here and there, little array, so complete will be complete. Oh, sorry. Okay, and the where will be comma to do ID. I can delete this, delete the affected rows, and our update gives us the result. Very simple. And that's it for that one. To delete a to do, I'll say this to do model delete. And here's our where statement. And let's put a result on here. Result equals that. And we'll just say if result, meaning it's not 0, return false. Okay, so let's make sure these work. Update, refresh the page. They're still in that state. Refresh, and let's try to do delete, and refresh, delete, refresh. Looks good. Let's go down to get notes, create note, update note, delete note. And these ones are actually going to be pretty close to the to-dos. But what I wanted to do first is just kind of refactor these and get them ready. I'm going to comment out the test to the squiggly once again. And this is going to wrap up the CRUD model series.